Welcome to Pembroke Heads Up 300, another visit with some of the committee heads for the Pembroke 300th Festival, which will be going on all of next year when Pembroke turns 300. To my immediate right is a very familiar face to many of you here in Pembroke. This is our chairman of the selectmen. Is that the official title?
Actually, I'm not a chairman this year of the selectmen. But
a selectman.
A selectman.
Okay, a selectman, William Bolter. And to his right is Phil Burnham, who is the committee head for the parade committee. And we're going to be talking to both of them this evening about their specific. Well, actually, Bill's going to talk to us about a great blanket of all the different exciting events that are going to be going on next year here in Pembroke. And then we're going to speak with Phil regarding the parade, which everyone loves a parade. So Phil's going to have a lot to share with us. But Bill, let's start with you. Would you want to give us a little overview of some of the events that are going on and where we stand on all of the different events that are coming up?
I can. And we start off next month, actually. Mm-hmm. We're in a fundraising mode right now for 2011. We're trying to raise as much money as we can in 2011 to do the activities that we're planning for 2012. But in October 16th of this year, on a Sunday, and check the website to find out the time and the location, but I believe it's 1 o'clock out in the back of the community center. We're going to try to get as many people together as possible and do an aerial photograph.
Excellent.
And the aerial photograph will consist of all of the people in Pembroke, and hopefully we can get 4,000 or 5,000 people.
Right.
And we'll spell out 300 on it or whatever, and should be a good photograph for people to purchase, especially
and suitable for framing, of course.
If they're in it, then they would probably want to buy a copy of it.
Absolutely, and that's a great way to raise funds. And you'll want to visit, for any of the things you hear Bill or Phil talking about, you'll want to visit the website. That's Pembroke300.com. That's www.pembroke.300. Pembroke300.com. Okay, Bill, continue. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no problem. We're also having a kickoff event in January 15th at the Pembroke Country Club, and the kickoff event will be a theme to let everybody know what our plans are exactly for 2012. We're going to request each chairperson of their subcommittee to say a little bit about what's going on, what's happening, how the events are going to take place, where they're going to take place, the time, and things like that. We'll also have a lot of memorabilia there. We're hoping and planning to have some older video of some of the past celebrations that they've had, and we're going to try to film this new celebration for 2012. But in March, we want to try to have something every month throughout the year. And we're working on that. So if I skip around a little bit to different months, we haven't filled in for one month or another as of yet, but the committees are still working on that. But March 21st of 2012 is the birthday.
Of course.
So we have a couple different people working on a very, very large cake. And we plan on having a birthday party on the 21st of March, and invite the town residents and the local businesses to participate in a birthday party. Come and get a piece of cake of the 300th, and again, check your website to find out exactly
mark your calendars
where it's going to be. When more information will be forthcoming.
Of course.
We're also planning a town calendar, and we're hoping to have all those events on the town calendar shortly.
Excellent.
And so probably within another month or so, we should be.
So you'll be able to greet 2012 with a Pembroke 300th calendar, where you can write in water bill due, Adelaide's birthday, and still see aerial show, parade, whatever, all in the same.
Yes, and the
document.
calendar will consist of a bunch of different pictures of Pembroke.
And Debbie Peckham's working on
and
that.
Debbie Peckham is
She's
working on
doing
that.
a beautiful job,
so,
I'm sure.
We did get a hold of all of the religious functions in town and out of town, because some people are a different religion that may go to Hanover or
Right.
Halifax or Hanson or whatever. So we contacted all the religious people for any activities that they want to plan for 2012. The First Church in Pembroke here will be planning a lot of activities that had to do with the formation of Pembroke.
Well, they were very important in the formation.
Yes,
of
they were.
Pembroke, so.
And they're planning to do some type of a walk or a reenactment from when we split from Duxbury and came to Pembroke and formed our own town. So they're in the process of formulating up some activities that are also going to take place around the birthday.
Excellent.
And I believe that they plan on having the governor and some senators and things like that there, because that was the original
Yeah.
signing of the documents and all that took place at the First Church. So,
Cool. Excellent. So we'll have all the mucky mucks.
so that'll hopefully they'll all be here.
Excellent,
So
excellent.
That'll be good. We do have New England Villages has come forward, and they're going to make some jewelry for the 300. We do have some pins now that we're selling, some golf markers and things like that for a
Sure.
golf tournament.
Yeah.
But they're going to make some very nice bracelets, and we've met with their staff, and Ginger Camo is leading up that whole thing, and we've had a couple of meetings on that, and that's come along very well.
Great.
So the people that live at New England Villages are actually making all these bracelets and
Right. So they'll be
necklace and
one-of-a-kind
things.
pieces.
Right.
And will there be a link to that, I'm sure, on the website as well at www.pembroke300.com?
Right.
Okay.
And that is that's a work in progress, and we're hoping to get a lot of that before the holidays, so that we can
Excellent.
actually sell that, which will help us raise money
Sure.
for the holidays. So we do have some pewter plates that are still on sale. They're $75 for the for a regular pewter plate. We have about 13 numbers that are still left for the numbered plates.
Okay.
That people haven't purchased yet, and they can contact me either by email or my cell phone.
Okay.
And I will give you that as we go along here.
Excellent.
But that's an option for a numbered plate. There's currently 50 now, and I haven't got a lot of feedback to say we wanted a lot more than that for
Right,
numbered
right.
plates. So I think we're probably going to leave it at 50
Okay.
plates.
But there's only 13 left, correct?
There's only 13 numbered plates left. So
Right.
if you want a numbered plate, they're $100, and you have to contact me.
Right.
And you have to pay up front first before
Sure.
you get that plate.
Okay.
We are working on a couple of different coins for the 300th, and we're in the process of doing some artwork for the coins, and that will be a nice touch to the 300th. And I kind of collect coins from police officers and things like that from all around the country, and
Right.
that would be nice. They did have some coins for the 275th, and so we plan on having our own coins for the
Excellent.
300th. We also plan on having an antique car show. Tiny and Sons is going to do that on May 13th.
Excellent.
And
This will be the second
This will
antique car
be the
show
second.
that they've done in lieu
yep.
or in
they raised
service to the.
they raised some money in this year for us, and we're hoping to have a much bigger event next year, and raise a little bit more money for the 300, so that we can continue on with our activities.
Fantastic.
We have a golf tournament scheduled for May also at the Pembroke Country Club, and whoever is the winners of these different events and things that we have, like tournaments or antique car show, the best placed car or the best car or whatever it is, they're going to have prizes for that. But all of those will be entered into the history of Pembroke. So if you were on a foursome that won the tournament for the 300, you'll definitely go down in Pembroke history. That
let me ask you something. Would that warrant them having a spot on your event? Would we have the winners of the tournament have a special car, say, on the in the parade?
Sounds like a possibility. I hadn't thought about it before, but it could work.
I just thought of it myself.
Yeah, that's
Well, just a thought. Anyway.
and actually, we've been meeting for over 2 years now.
Yeah.
Every month, the third Tuesday of every month.
Yep, at Pembroke Country Club, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, and it's we've come up with a lot of ideas. There's been a lot of people that have come and gone, and there's a lot of hard work that's gone into the things that we're doing so far.
Yep.
We are having a costume ball on June 16th.
Also at the Country Club.
At the Pembroke Country Club. And you can either come in costume or you can come regular, that you would go out on a regular date on. So you don't have to come in a costume.
Right. But flip-flops are strongly discouraged.
Right. Yeah. But the costume ball, you can rent these different costumes. You could be most anything that you would want to be in the last 300 years.
You have 300 years to choose from, and that information also will be on the website at www.pembroke300.com.
That should be a real fun event.
That is going to be a blast, actually.
There's a local businessman that has indicated that he's going to try to get some more money from the people that he works for, and also help to donate so we can bring the cost of the tickets down, so that everybody will be able to come. So, so that's good.
Excellent.
The police are planning what they call a police night out on June 19th. That's a Tuesday night, and it's going to run from about 4 o'clock to 11, and that's going to be at the fields at the Pembroke High School.
Okay.
That should be a really good event, very interesting for the family and the kids, and they're going to have a lot of different activities there, and they'll show all of their different equipment, and
will they have like the canine units and things
they'll
like
have
that?
the canine units there, the tactical units there.
Excellent.
I'm sure that the sheriff will probably be there with all of his things and his horses and whatever and all that. So that should be a very good night for a lot of fun for the people.
Do we have a time on that, or does that just going to be
from 4 o'clock to 11?
4 o'clock on. So it'll start relatively early. People can have dinner and come out.
Right, and that's why they call it a police night out, because it's at night. So
okay.
But that should be a fun event. It's on a Tuesday night, and Kingston usually does that every year, and they have a very good showing down there for their night out.
Something to look forward to.
And it's quite an event. And Chris Wyman from the police department is organizing that with the superior officers that run the police department. So it's under the chief's blessings to do that. So that's good. In July, July 1st, we're planning a big water balloon fight.
Yep. Kathleen Keegan was telling me about that.
Kathleen Keegan is heading up that, and she wants to try to
she's going to
break the world record.
Yep. It's held by Brigham Young right now, University.
Right.
I believe she told me it's 4,000 people, 125,000 balloons. So we're going to shoot for more than that.
And it's going to be in July, so it'll be warm.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
we'd probably be welcome.
It's probably the only time that you'll be able to throw a water balloon at me or somebody else and get away with it.
Without there being retribution.
But we're also planning a North River cruise. We've talked to a couple of people that live on the North River, and that would definitely have to be done on the right tides and the right days. So the scheduling on that is it's going to be a summer event.
Sure.
And what we're going to try to do is to have some cruises on the North River, also to try to raise a little bit of money. But some people have never been on the North River.
Yeah.
And that's where it was a big ship shipping industry that took place down there.
And if you know your history, you know that if it wasn't for the North River, there wouldn't be a Pembroke. So
Right. And the thing about this whole thing, and if you see the logo that is on the hat, and you see the ship that's on there, that's the Beaver. And from history that we can talk about, was built in Pembroke.
correct.
And that was also part of the Boston Tea Party.
Yep. Sure was.
So there's some history there for Pembroke.
Yeah.
And so we'll see those locations along the river to see. There isn't a lot of different locations, and we're probably going to have to put up some type of signs to say this is where it was, so people can.
But it'll be a nice afternoon event.
Right. Yeah. So that it should be a nice event.
Right.
We have a time capsule that was donated by the McLeod family, and that was awesome. It was about a $6,000 donation that came in, and we plan on putting a bunch of different things into this time capsule, and it's made out of titanium.
Yep.
And we will be burying that in the walkway, the new walkway that we have.
Which we talked about at our last Heads Up 300, actually, with John Proctor. Yeah.
Right, and we will, as long as we get that approved by the Historic Commission, which we found out that we have to get that approved by this, so we'll be meeting with the Historic Commission next month, and hopefully we get a blessing on that to put that walkway in. We're also planning on a family scavenger treasure hunt, and part of that scavenger hunt is going to be all the different historic locations in Pembroke.
Right, because there are many.
So there's a lot of people that probably don't know where a lot of these places are.
Right.
So by the time you get through with that, you'll know where all these different historic locations are.
And you'll be able to share it with all your friends when they visit Pembroke.
Right, exactly. And when we get through with that, we'll have a winner, whoever wins that the scavenger hunt, and we plan on having a little cookout type of thing afterwards.
Okay.
So that everybody spends the morning part or whatever out on their little scavenger hunt, and then we have some hot dogs, hamburgers, or whatever, and have a cookout.
Sounds very good.
So we're also working on some school pins. On the 275th, they did some school pins, and these here, there's the school department is in the process now of having an art contest.
Okay.
So each school will have an art contest to see who wins the art contest, so that they can put their art on one of the pins.
Right.
So the pins will be for sale independently, so if you just wanted to buy the Bryantville Elementary School pin, you could just do that. Or if you wanted to get the box with all the different pins in it, you could get the box with all the different pins in it, which would also include the 300th pin.
Of course.
In there. So so that's a work in progress, and that should be, the art contest should be completed, and a winner should be before Thanksgiving, I'm told.
Of this year?
Yes.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yep. We have an aviation weekend planned for antique aircraft, seeing that we do have one airfield that's left in Pembroke.
Right. That's right by the Herring Run.
Yep, and that's going to be done on August 18th and 19th.
Okay.
And that also will be a little bit of a fundraiser, so that we can have a bunch of different old antique aircraft that people probably haven't had an opportunity to see.
In person,
they will probably fly those in a day or so before.
Yeah.
So there won't be a lot of activity that weekend.
Right.
They will probably come in the day or so before that and line up to,
that'll be that's something I'm looking forward to too. So that'll be good.
So and we're hoping that the Coast Guard and the State Police are also going to bring their helicopters and things like that in there, and maybe do a static display or a rescue type of a thing like that. So that should be a fun weekend also.
Excellent.
We have our parade on the 23rd of September.
Which is going to be Phil's area.
Which is Phil's area.
We're going to talk to you in just a minute, I promise,
That's
Phil.
okay.
I promise, okay?
We do have a what they call a herring run road race that's going to be planned prior to the parade.
Okay.
That'll be done in the morning. We believe the parade's going to kick off probably around 1 o'clock, and the road race will probably take place at 10.
Okay.
in
Now,
the
will
morning.
the runners run the opposite direction of the parade?
No, they're going to go the same direction.
Okay,
actually,
all right.
yeah.
Well, I thought I'd
Prior to.
find out. See.
And if the heron were very prevalent, then we'd probably have them run with a heron, but
Yeah,
we,
really.
we can't.
Now they might
we
step on
can't
one
do
and
that,
slip
so,
and
yeah.
fall, and it could be an.
We also have a book that's being
Yeah.
designed, and it should be a very good
It's going to be
keepsake.
an heirloom quality, serious
should be
coffee table
very,
book.
very nice book.
Yeah.
From what I understand from the Proctors.
Yep,
and,
we talked about that on our last
and Libby
show.
Bates and a few other people that are working on that, so that should come out very well.
Yep.
The school is also wants to do a concert in October.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
And so that's forthcoming. The dates and things like that will be coming up for that for next year.
Right. Right.
Um,
Just to verify, that's not next month. That's October of 2012.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent.
Also in October of next year, not this year, we plan on having a colonial encampment.
Mm-hmm.
And we also want to have a military weekend the same time, and that will be held up at the Pembroke High School
Right.
area off of Learning Lane also.
Excellent. Okay.
And so you'll be able to see the encampment of what the soldiers used to look like way back during the Civil War days. And you should be able to see what the soldiers look like today with the
Exactly.
equipment and the things that they have today compared to what they
Night
had.
and day.
Yes.
Musket
And-
versus machine
and-
gun.
Yeah. Originally, we thought that what we might do is have a little fight between
Yeah.
the old and the
Seems
new.
unfair.
It would be very unfair
Horribly
between
unfair.
all the different type of lasers and everything
Yeah,
else that they
yeah.
have today. It's
Versus
it's,
a wet noodle.
unbelievable.
I don't
Yeah.
think it would go over very well.
But we plan on having the fireworks during the that colonial encampment, the military weekend.
Excellent.
So that will be the finale of that particular weekend.
Right.
And so the fireworks will be on that weekend.
And that'll create a great number of photo ops for families that want to get a picture of themselves with a Revolutionary Soldier and the fireworks going on and everything.
Right.
It'll definitely be something that they won't forget.
And we also have Kyle Haney that's going to do some
Yeah.
production things.
He's got issues.
We're looking to have a carnival sometime in
Mm, yeah.
2012, and we're looking for a date to do that
Okay.
carnival. And we don't want to interfere with anybody else that is having one if they have other
Right.
functions that are in the town. So we're trying to work that together to come up with a good date for that.
Okay.
The website is being run by Deborah Wall
from the library,
From
yeah.
the library. She's doing an excellent job on the
Yep.
website. And you really should go check it out.
Yep. And
Pembroke.
that's www.pembroke300.com.
All right. We've been selling some wine in different locations. We had the Boston Winery came up with a white wine, Chardonnay, and a Merlot
Right.
wine for us. That we put the label, the Pembroke label on
Right.
that. That has the beaver ship on it and all that. So and it has a little bit of history on the back of the
Yeah.
bottle of wine.
But that's just the
And-
beginning.
And that's a pre
Yep.
for this year because one of our local cranberry farmers donated the cranberries, and we decided that we wanted to make a Pembroke wine.
Mm-hmm.
So we looked at what type of fruit or whatever do we have in Pembroke
Right.
that we could make a wine out
Right.
of here.
And Pembroke is lousy with cranberries.
And it is lousy with cranberries. There's a lot of cranberries. So that's what we did. We the Windswept Bogs donated the cranberries. We picked them up, brought them to Boston last year.
Mm-hmm.
They're in a big vat up there.
They are fermenting
brewing,
while we're taping.
as we're taping. And that should be the cranberry wine should be available. We have 13 different locations in Pembroke that are selling the wine right now, and they will get some of the bottles of wine. There's only 200 I think there's maybe 260
I
bottles.
think they're going to be gone quick
yeah.
because everybody I've been talking to has been talking about it. So
Yeah.
it's
So it's going to be kind of
Yeah.
difficult to get one of
Yeah.
those bottles. They're going to be on the shelves and gone pretty quick.
right.
But that should be a very good thing because it's actually part of Pembroke.
Yeah.
It's and that's what we've tried to do during this whole process is to bring everybody into this 300s, not just one faction. We're trying to get everybody involved in it, and and that's working out pretty good. We also have a raffle ongoing right now. It's it's a $100 raffle.
Yeah.
If you win, you get $5,000.
Right. Second
Cash.
prize is $1,500, I believe.
Yeah.
And then there's a
And
couple
then
other
there's
prizes.
a couple of third prizes.
Yeah, which are like $750 or
Yeah.
I think I'm not sure.
And I don't have the ticket with me, but but if you're interested in doing a little gambling, then
Yeah, or the payoff could be quite nice, and it's going to be we're going to be drawing it at the Pembroke tree lighting, which will be held this year. I believe it is December 4th.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. I should know, I'm on the committee.
Yeah.
But it's going to be at the Pembroke tree lighting ceremony, which more will be forthcoming. And you can also visit the website at pembroke300.com.
And one of the good things about that is there's only 200 tickets. That's it.
Yeah, totally.
And
So
there's
not out of the realm of possibility that you could be a winner.
That would be a it would be a nice thing. You're actually making a donation to the 300th, which is tax deductible because we're a nonprofit organization. So anything that you contribute to the 300th would be deductible on your taxes for next year.
Right. And you could end up getting people a Game Boy.
You could.
If you want. Yeah.
We're also, there's a committee planning to do some of the historic house tours in Pembroke.
That's
and,
definitely a work in progress.
They're looking to do that, and hopefully they had that also at the 275th, and they had trolleys or buses or whatever that went around to the different locations. So there is a committee working on that right now, and hopefully they get that all together for next year.
I invite them to come here and fill us in. We'd love to know more.
We're asking the townspeople that do events in 2012 to theme the 300. So we got a hold of the Pembroke Arts Festival, and I believe they're also going to have a float or whatever in our parade. And their theme is going to be for their arts festival in August is going to be for the 300. So hopefully we'll have a lot of pictures. Old and new and all that people will make drawings or whatever they're going to do for the arts festival.
Excellent.
So we're kind of hoping that that's all going to be for the 300th.
Okay.
And that should be a really good event.
And we're also ongoing doing the 3 and 3 campaign, which you may have heard about before. It's each person in Pembroke is being asked to donate 300 pennies, each business $300. So we're asking for 3 and 3. If you can do it, it would be very helpful. I mean, we don't want to seem like this is a great big begathon, but these events are going to cost a lot of money for us to put on, and this is going to be an event for the whole town. And it's a little way for you to actually give a little bit to make that year really memorable.
Right. And we have some people in town that are making 2 quilts.
I ran into one of them at the farmers market on Sunday.
And we're hoping also to have the farmers market involved in our events also for the 300th. And we have the fundraising committee has just put out a letter that's going to go out to all of the residents in Pembroke explaining why we're doing this fundraising. And it also will go to all the businesses in Pembroke. And we're looking to send out to some of the other establishments that do business with Pembroke that are from another town. So if Hood Milk sells all their milk to the Pembroke High School, then we would like to see if they would like to contribute something to the 300.
So when is that letter going out again, Bill?
It's going out the end of the week.
Okay, so watch your mailboxes for a letter, so they remind you. You can put it on your refrigerator. I think there'll probably be Pembroke magnets out there you could put it on the refrigerator with. And then If not, if you have any questions about anything Bill was talking about tonight, please feel free to visit the website. That's www.pembroke300.com. And now I need to get to Phil because he's looking at me like he wants to kill me.
You're fine.
The only other thing we do
Yeah.
have is on our closing event would be in
Yeah.
December.
Right.
And the closing event is going to be made up of recognizing everybody in all of the businesses and the establishments and the people that did all the work that made this a really big, successful year.
And by then, we're
So-
all going to be so...
And we'll be ready to carry
Yeah.
on for the next year.
Exactly.
Right.
And we'll be glad that there's not going to be any events for us to plan for 2013, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you very
Right.
much for all your hard work, Bill. Everybody in town, of course, appreciates it, and I appreciate you coming on the show and telling us about it. Now, to focus on one of those events that we're going to be doing next year, the parade. Everybody loves the parade, and Phil Burnham is here to talk to us about the parade. So, without further ado, allow me to introduce you to Phil Burnham. You are something of an expert in this area, are you not?
I've been at it for 35 years, and I've done a few.
Yeah,
I
would
even
imagine.
participated in it when I was younger before that, so I've done several. I enjoy parades.
So tell me, Phil, how did you get involved with parades? It's not like stamp collecting. How do you get started in something like that?
I was asked to help do Kingston's. I'm a Kingston guy, by the way, not Pembroke. Oh, but that's okay.
That's
'cause
okay,
I
yeah.
enjoy it. I've come here and I'm glad to help. Helped do their 250th, and podiatrist by the name of Dr. Schilling said, "Would you like to help me?" And I said, "I certainly would." And that was my first. I worked with him, and I've done several since.
So you are hooked.
And I'm hooked. I'm hooked
Okay.
on parades. I've done a little bit of some of the Thanksgiving parades in Plymouth. My last big parade was Plimpton's 300th anniversary. That was in '07. And it's just the organizational bit of the parade that I enjoy doing, and
Okay.
I
So
just like getting into it.
speaking of organization, the parade's going to have lots of different elements. Of course, we'll have bands and people marching and streamers and balloons and all that good stuff. So tell us a little bit about what we can expect to see on the parade route that day.
Well, the parade will kick off with the thing that all the kids like, and even the adults, the fire department. The fire trucks will show up, and they will lead off the parade, and they will be the first thing to start the parade.
Excellent.
Then the whole parade follows through, and it starts on Learning Lane, ends up right here in your center. It's about 2 miles, a little shy of 2 miles
Wow.
distance.
Wow.
I try to run a non-stop, no-hole parade, because I remember going to parades where you look it up down the street and say, where is that?
Yeah.
So we try to have no gaps if we can. I have some people who have also volunteering that live with their division, try to keep things together, and there's a methodology to what I do.
Okay.
Right now we're accepting applications, and you have to go to the website that you've recited 6 or 8 times.
Yeah, I think I was going for it.
And click on parades, and you'll see there's an application.
Okay.
If the application is filed, it gets to Janet and then gets to me, and we start to build a spreadsheet I'm already working on right now.
Okay.
They'll go to your librarian who's going to do the web page, and you'll see who's showing up.
Right.
It's a bit early to have committals, although I don't guarantee anything. Think we have the Northeast Navy Band out of Newport.
Excellent. Wonderful.
And I think we have a representative Army Band.
I'm sure the Navy Band will be much better than
Well,
the Navy Band.
who knows? I won't quote on either. We are looking to hope to get the Budweiser Clydesdales. I
All right.
can't guarantee anything.
Now, let me ask you, all these things sound like they're going to cost some money.
Yes,
So-
they do.
All right,
The
so-
Clydesdales may not be at a charge.
Really?
I have had a wagon team come, Hollamore's wagon, and I think
Yeah.
they cost one parade. I think they cost about $3,000.
We have the Clydesdales every year at the tree lighting, and I think it costs, I don't know how much, but it's
Yeah.
not, yeah. But the Budweiser Clydesdales are world famous. So
Oh
that's,
yes, yeah. The Hollamore are a big team also.
Oh,
They travel.
excellent.
There is an ambition of mine, and I guess I may as well recite it. There's a great parade in Philadelphia every New Year's
Yeah,
called the Mummers
yeah.
Parade.
I've been there.
Have you? You've seen them.
It's all day long.
And the Mummers bands are a spectacular thing
Yeah.
to see, and they're not cheap.
No,
I'm
no.
looking around just pricing. I'm not buying anybody yet, but the one I'm looking at is $6,000. So
But should people want to make a donation or
yes,
learn
they
anything
may,
more?
or they may try to sponsor part of it. If we get someone that sponsors a good percentage of it, their banner could go in front of that unit.
Excellent.
And,
That sounds like a great business opportunity for someone, say
yeah.
in the feather business or the string band business.
There you go.
And they would visit our www.pembroke300.com
Yeah.
and click on the parade area.
There are very many facets of, obviously we have bands, we'll have
Mm-hmm.
floats, but one particular thing I'm aiming at, and I think I'm going to get it, I'm getting feedback already, is I'd like to see a neighborhood float competition.
Excellent. Okay.
Various areas of Pembroke join in to try to compete. And I'm sure we'd get their name on a plaque that would be somewhere in the town hall or in the Winners and so forth. And it would be an interesting thing to have.
Absolutely.
And, as you mentioned before, the theme is Pembroke's 300th, and I think
Yeah.
that I want to impress upon everyone that is used as their theme.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to stay away from commercialism in parades
Okay,
if possible, but if there's somebody who is a big business in town who's been there and wants to put something in the parade and mention and have information about the 300th, that's great.
Excellent. Now, Phil, do you meet your subcommittee? Does it meet monthly?
We meet
Okay. Do you have a
the,
set date?
the first Wednesday
Okay.
at the library.
At the library.
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
And I have
library.
a very, very good committee. I'm very pleased with my committee. And
But if anybody else would want to get involved,
they'd
they're
be
certainly not
more than
deterred.
welcome to come and help.
Okay. Now, is there a specific website address, or are they going to just visit the one that I say all the time?
They visit the one you're mentioning all the time, and
Okay.
they could find
wanna
me
give it a
also.
shot?
I'm listed on that website, so they can find me.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I want to thank both of my guests tonight for the time they spent with us and the great work that they're both doing with the committees. Phil, this is really going to be an exciting parade. I think I speak for most Pembrokeans when I say...
It's going to be the biggest parade Pembroke ever had.
Yep, excellent. And thank you very much for watching Heads Up. We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to have another guest with us. It's going to be very exciting and very unexpected for a lot of you. So thanks for watching Pembroke Heads Up. I'm Kyle Harney.
Kyle, did you know that Pembroke has a 300th anniversary coming up soon?
I not only do I know that Pembroke is turning 300, I'm thoroughly aware of Pembroke turning 300. And we have a very exciting campaign going on that everybody can get involved in. Every single person who lives in our dear, sweet, marvelous town of Pembroke can actually be a part of this. And it's a simple, simple way to do it. From kindergarten on up to your, geriatric period. 3 and 3. That's what you need to remember. If you're a person, 300 pennies. If you're a business, $300. Seems like a lot? Maybe it's not. We've at 300 years, so that's a penny per year, many of which you probably weren't around during. You can help. If you're a business, $3 or $300, $1 per year, many of which you probably weren't here. If you were, you might want to make a more padded contribution.
And what are we going to do with this money?
We're going to spend it on an array of events so widespreading your mind would scramble. Absolutely. From a parade to a ball to a balloon fight. We're going to set the world record for balloon fight, water balloon fight. It's going to be amazing. I mean, it's going to be the most exciting year to live anywhere, let alone Pembroke, Massachusetts. I think when you think Pembroke, you don't necessarily think, the epicenter of excitement. But what happens in Pembroke doesn't necessarily have to stay in Pembroke.
So back for the 275th anniversary, they did this. Of course, it was $2.75, 2 and 75.
Right, yeah, it's too many fingers.
And so now we're doing 3 and 3.
3 and 3. So keep that in mind, everybody. 3 and 3. Little boys, little girls, you might want to start saving your pennies up or steal them from your mom's purse. 3 and 3. Once you get 300 pennies, you've got something. So you bring it to the town hall, you bring it to the library, anywhere in town that's going to be accepting it. You will be a part of the Pembroke 300th anniversary. That's tercentenary. You might want to write that up below the screen. Tercentenary. 3 and 3. 300 pennies for 300 years. Business is $300.
And you can get more information on not only this campaign, but all the events planned for the 300th celebration.
At Pembroke300.com or at our, you see the thing, You could send it also to pembroke-ma.gov/anniversary. Please be a part of this. It's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It only happens once every 300 years. Welcome back. I've got a very special guest with me today. You may have heard a little bit of the scuttlebutt around town about the 300 trees for the 300th anniversary. And there's a lot of misinformation in that, and there's a lot of really good information in that. And what I'd like to say is that's going to be a springboard for our conversation with my next guest. This is Rick Madden, who is going to be heading up the tree undertaking, I shall say. This is a project, and let me read you exactly what we have on the on this note from him to it's a reforestation.
My responsibilities, so to speak.
Yeah. The objective of this program is to create a self-sustaining, long-range plan that would cover organic and agricultural management of the local bogs and the surrounding uplands. This program would revert the current cranberry bog space to its original white cedar swamp ecosystem. Now, to a lot of people, that may not sound like what it really is going to be, but it's a very exciting project. And I'm going to actually kick it off here to Rick in just a second, but I want to say this is going to be kicking off, if I'm not mistaken, Arbor Day of 2012,
Yes,
April
absolutely.
29th. And this is going to be a part of the events for the 300th anniversary, but it's really not about 2012 so much as it's going to be for the next
300 years.
and so on. So, Rick, why don't you, I give you a moment, tell us about your project with that particular location. I forgot the name, forgive me.
Windswept bogs.
Windswept Bogs.
Okay, well, Windswept Bogs is one of the jewels of Pembroke. It has two of the non-polluted lakes, Big Sandy, Little Sandy, Sister Lake. The ecosystem was white cedar swamp. They call it swamp. It's more of a rainforest is a better word for it. Swamp kind of degrades the meaning of it. And what happened was, when this country was discovered, the only treasures here were these Atlantic white cedar trees that were like our redwood trees on this coast. Now, England needed masts and spars, biggest shipbuilding period of the world, and they had to pay a debt back to England, so they came and we cut down all the trees and we shipped them off to England. Then, years later, cranberry growers said, well, we can grow cranberries on these bogs.
Right, so it wasn't the cranberry growers that stripped
It was
the
not
land.
the cranberry growers that
It was
caused...
the redcoats.
It was the redcoats. Took our trees before we were even a country.
I see.
So these trees have been basically cut down because from a small bean pole to a fence post to a cedar shingle, a spar of a boat, or a mast of a boat, or planking for a boat. There are uses from this tree from when it's a little sapling basically to its maturity. So you don't have to let them mature to sell them. So
Okay.
there are no mature species left, examples in this state of this tree.
How old would the trees that are surrounding us right now be? Just curious.
10,
10 years?
7 or 8.
Wow.
So, and I have specimens that we have dug here in front of bulldozers that are creating bogs to this day. They're still creating bogs, which is fine, in the right location. I love cranberries. I actually like cranberry growers.
Okay.
So these would have been kind of run amok and destroyed. So we go in, we rescue these, we pull them, and that saves us taking a little seedling
Right.
and spending 10 years to get it to this point. And in
yeah, I
a few
heard
more
about this.
years,
I
we
heard about you
will
doing
have
this.
breeding stock throwing cones out. And once you have that, then you have a self-sustaining seeded population seeding itself in.
This is clearly Rick's passion, and I need to keep my reins on you a little bit here.
Absolutely.
Okay? Because we do need to make sure we keep this on point with the 300th. But I have to
Yes.
ask you, because I know when we first met, we were both talking about stuff, and I just want to know, like, so how big do these trees get?
These trees they're the second largest tree that grows in this part of the country. The
So?
tulip poplar's the first.
Right.
And they get 7-8 feet across at the base,
Wow.
85 feet tall to 100 feet tall, and they live 350 years.
Wow. Okay.
And at that
That's
point,
almost as long as the town's been around, which brings me back to the 300th
Exactly.
anniversary. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So there are a couple reasons why you're here tonight.
yes,
Okay, we're going to be celebrating the 300th anniversary with planting of the 300 trees,
Trees.
which Rick is telling me now it's going to probably look like, if we want to say face, 3,000.
yes.
And
I would
that's
really
okay.
like to get to that number.
That's okay. It's still got a 3 and several zeros,
Yes.
just like the birthday. Now, what you're going to need from that, you're going to need volunteers to help.
Yes.
But you mentioned to me prior to us going on the air that there was something that you needed even more than that.
Somebody to come forward with the savviness to set up a website
We
and
need a-
keep us connected electronically.
We need a
the
computer
world.
liaison between
Yes.
Rick,
Good
his
word.
trees, and the internet.
Which are
so
Pembroke's trees.
We're putting it out there. Please, if you have any information about that, you can visit our website, pembroke300.com. You'll see a lack of information on the trees right now. But that could quickly change if
Yes.
you would like to bring your special magic to the project.
It could be a group, it could be
Yeah.
a business and a group, or individual. It is, and or all of the above.
Right. Now, speaking of businesses, you've had a very, very impressive donation given to you recently
Yes.
by a local business. Do you want to tell us about that?
Lowe's was more than generous to reach in their pocket and pull out materials for 3 greenhouses, 2.5, 3 right in there. We're using a lot of green stock, like pallets and things too. I like to recycle. So we're doing a mix, not just brand new stuff, but old stuff as well. And then they reached in even further and gave the sheathing for them, which was the completion of the
Wow.
greenhouse. We
Wow.
have one up at
Where's that at?
193 Mattakesett Street to the left of Sampson Lumber.
Okay. I think
And
I've seen
that's
that.
where we're going to be wintering trees, starting trees, and the point of the greenhouses is to grow a lot of plants, sell them, and get some money for the 300,
Right, right.
and then put some back into the trees, and to form a community effort about this. And we'll have a float even in the parade.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent. You know, it astounds me for a man of his size what a small carbon footprint you leave.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so you're going to be getting all these people together. We're going to be all helping out, but there's something that's really ethereal about this as well. Is that you're going to be planting a tree. So 10 years down the road, you're going to be able to go show, hey, this is the tree I planted. Or you're going to say, Mom, where's that tree I planted? Or is that the tree I planted?
Or is that the tree we planted for Grandpa when
Yeah.
he passed? Is that
Yeah.
the memorial tree that we have set up for him? Or, you know, a nice dedication in your life too, and a benchmark in your life.
Yeah, it is. It's totally true. Because planting a tree is something that's really something that you can't put into words
It's
all
like
the time.
these little guys. This
Yeah.
is the process, basically. It's as simple. These were destined to be destroyed in front of the bulldozer, so I quickly pulled them, brought them home. We have 500 of these.
And they're
these
available?
Are nursery, just nursery bottle liners.
Uh-huh.
So we have to fill 3,000 of those or more
3,000, yeah.
and get them ready to receive these trees that we can buy for a very modest price. You can
Mm-hmm.
buy a tree for 25 to 30 cents as a seedling, and you have to care for it for a few years and then put it out in the wild.
Right.
So that's what this
Now-
project wants to do, is kind of take little trees, babysit them, so to speak, and then nurture them up and continually replace trees and put trees out there
This
for the
would
next
be-
300 years.
This would be a great project for parents to give to their kids that are in kindergarten. You know, you give them a tree and help them with it. It's their tree, and then when they get into second grade, it's
Yes.
time to put it in the ground.
Absolutely.
And then et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Before you know it, the kid is gone, and you've got to take care of the tree. But the tree will remind you of that wonderful time that you spent cultivating life with your child, and your child will also enjoy it as well. And it's all in concert with the 300th
300th
anniversary. But I want to talk to you about two main other things. Firstly, you said there's going to be 2 plantings in 2012.
Yes.
There'll be a spring planting and a
And
fall
a fall
planting.
planting.
Okay, so tell us what the difference is in the plantings, and are there going to be different species going in at that time, or what's the game plan?
The game plan is we have 300 nice mature trees.
Right.
From 2 feet to, I think, a 13-footer with full cones. And we're going to plant those, I would hope. This is a selected area that you've been focusing on. This is Big Sandy and Little Sandy.
Okay.
If you look on site 2, there'll be a corresponding photograph of these trees and how they grow in a wetland environment. And if you look on site 1, when they show you the pictures here, that is more of a woodland, upland woodland, drier area that they also grow in.
Now, can you do these plantings both the fall and the spring
Yes,
planting?
you can.
Okay.
I would like to surround this bog with our first trees so that we create this filter, basically starting a nice magical filter. You'd have to understand that's kind of, these trees grow in a peat bed. Peat's one of the best filters known to man. They use it in hospital dressings. They use it in sewer systems, actually. Put in bed mats and then take them, peat mats, and take them back out.
Sure.
So it's really good at trapping toxins, and it's really good at storing water and purifying it. This is a 97-foot deep peat bed. So the Army Corps of Engineers say, if anybody has any questions, ask them. I didn't go out and dig a hole.
Yeah.
But that was a Atlantic white cedar forest. To have that type of peat, it had to have cedar trees for it to grow under in a nice cool water environment. This is a hot water system now, basically all summer. What we want to do is create a canopy of trees, and it becomes a cool water, and that is a whole different ecosystem from the warm water. Warm water breeds mosquitoes and all sorts of other nasty things that cool water just doesn't do. And trout can live in a cold water stream, and that's native. So I'd love to bring back streams and pure water and shady, just basically shade to this situation here.
Okay, so that's going to be positive, right?
Yes.
So, is there anything there that I guess I can't say will there be any unintentional consequences, but is there any species of anything that might need to go elsewhere if that's there now, or
there's loosestrife starting to invade this property, and since '04, when the town asked me to come on board and discuss with them what would be a good idea to do to this area or how to manage it, one of the major things you have to watch out for is non-native species just taking over rampantly and destroying any chance of getting a system in there. So the timing is important, because we've already got loosestrife started in here, and that'll just carpet this whole valley and just totally carpet this thing in like 10 years.
So these trees will help eradicate that sort of problem. Okay.
And if you're out there and you see loosestrife, I'm not certain about the laws, but I don't think you get in trouble for picking it and throwing it in your incinerator.
Just keep your hands off of the lady slippers.
Yes.
Okay, so Lowe's has been so kind as to donate you with to put thousands of trees under temporary glass to keep them brought
viable
to
and healthy.
Yeah, you know the words. I don't know what I'm saying.
and they've been really good about it. They really stepped up. They were easy to work with. I worked with them one other time in another project, and they were really good at that. And again, it was an agricultural project, also in organic gardening, and they stepped up then. So they've got a history of stepping up and working with people in the town.
Okay, excellent.
I heard they did another project.
The gauntlet is down for businesses to try to come on board. Somebody needs to outdo Lowe's with either this project or any of the other 300th projects. But this one's really going to be something else. And we talked previous episodes about the book and the bricks, and they're going to be here for a long time. The book's going to be on the coffee table, which could very well be made by one of these trees.
Yes.
Someday.
One day.
And the bricks are going to be here shaded by trees like this. And it's important that we all feel a connection to a town. What can make you feel more connection than putting actual roots in the ground into Pembroke? It could really be a great way to.
And Pembroke sells water and has for
Yeah, we
a
do.
century
Right
at
behind
least.
my house.
So what this is a water storage area. Even though it looks like a swamp, it's a water storage area, and we sell water. And the responsible thing to do if we're selling water is to clean it up as best we can
Without chemicals.
without chemicals.
Right.
Do all organic. That's all I do is organic
I know you do.
gardening, and I have a 4-time state championship in organic gardening. So that kind of
Do you have to do
toots
it
my
really
horn a
fast?
little
Do you have
bit.
to plant really
you know.
fast?
No, actually, it makes things work really well.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
That's a whole other show.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
You've got about 10 other shows,
But-
I'm sure.
Back to this, we're the
Yeah.
stewards of this land, and
Right.
they've made major choices to take it out of, cranberry bog production and to put it into water storage retention because we sell water. So by doing this particular bog over first,
Upside down.
yep, anyway, I was looking at that.
Yeah,
I'm
you know-
upside down.
you know what?
By doing this bog first, this is where this whole area drains into the water
Before it
reservoir.
goes
So
into-
it would be establishing like a filter, like in a fish tank. You put a
Yeah.
filter and it cleans the water. We'd be putting in the first stage of the filter on where the water from the whole area flows into a reservoir.
Excellent.
So we'd be putting a really good thing in place.
So think about it. You could actually be a part of it, and it could be your contribution to the 300th anniversary. And in addition, you'd be contributing for the next 300, 3,000 years. People won't even remember who you were. And they will be seeing these trees, and they'll be saying, that tree is something else. I wonder what the story is. And also, you mentioned with doing the trees, they could GPS.
Yes, I'd like to see this become so streamlined and simple in the future that you could just go online, say, .com,
find your
300th
tree.
anniversary. We'd like to plant a dozen trees with our group next weekend. We get back in touch with you, we get the trees, you pick them up,
Bada bing, bada boom.
you go put them in and you GPS them as you put them in. And then you come back and give us that information.
And
then
before you know it, we've got
everybody in the community is out there planting trees, GPSing them, and they're taking walks through this place, and they're going to places a little further out, and they're getting off the path
and they're learning what the
and
town,
planting the future.
and they're and in the same time, understanding what the town looked like, and in a way making it look like it did.
Well, and they're getting off the path, like I said. You go to these conservation areas, and if you stay on the path,
Yeah.
and one of the reasons you stay on the path is poison ivy, obviously.
Right.
So
Yeah.
this cures poison ivy, and you won't catch it if you know
What's
this plant.
this one? Now what's
This is my friend, the jewelweed.
the jewelweed?
It's called that because in the morning, the dew on it forms little balls and just reflects light like a jewel.
Oh, beautiful. And it's a native.
Yes, this is a native.
Now, and you snap it and rub it.
Just like you would use aloe from the plant, you use the stem and any part of the plant, but the stem has most of it in it. And you put it on as a lotion, and it's a molecular barrier. It's a silicone glove.
Do you
So
do it before you go into it?
before, during, or after?
Oh, I love that.
If I
Foolproof.
feel it on my legs, and I can now feel poison ivy. Poison ivy is now 7 times larger
Yeah,
and
it's
15
everywhere.
times more acidic and puts kids in intensive care.
Yeah, yeah.
And on prednisone, puts their
It
parents
made
on
me
Prozac.
miserable. It made me miserable for a long
it
time.
can,
I mean, now I
it
have
can really
nothing to
harm a
blame, but-
person. So a person came up to me this summer and had been out frolicking in the Boston Islands and got
Yeah.
all ripped up with thorns and then ran through poison ivy and was covered
Okay.
and was debating going to the hospital. And I got out
Yeah.
the old jewelweed,
Did it?
stuffed his stockings full of it, and
Yeah.
2 days later he was just fine. It was like scabbed over and it was drying up and going away.
Who knew that a miracle could end with scabs? But you
That's
know
a
what?
good thing.
I think the important thing that you left us with there is no frolicking. And okay, so what I'm going to say before I let Rick go is, and then I need to talk to you guys all about some other things about Pembroke's 300th. Is thank you so much for coming on. And
Thank
I know
you.
there's so much more we can talk about because he's an endlessly interesting guy. And this is a very interesting project you have going. So if you have any latent computer skills that you would like to lend to this, I
Absolutely.
urge you to.
The trees need you. We need somebody
Yeah.
to step up and take this electronically into this generation.
They're
And
excellent at filtering water, not so good at posting on Facebook.
yes, exactly.
Okay, so what I also want to talk to you guys about is some additional items that we're going to have available for sale. So I'm going to be putting on my huckster hat here and tell you about some of the Pembroke 300th items that we're going to have available, okay? Firstly, this is a Pembroke 300th patch. These are available everywhere, and we have this particular logo on many an item from golf tee or golf ball markers to coins to hats to, I don't know, I don't know that they're not going to have a boat itself with one on it at some point in time. Additionally, Becky Halecki has been doing a number of watercolors, which are going to be available through Town Hall, and the proceeds from that will go to the 300th. The point I want to make to everybody is that there is not a single element going on in the town the next,
That's true.
I would say not even just next year, but from this point on, where you can't get involved and make your mark or buy a brick or a book or a tree or any number of things that will really help you make yourself feel more a part of this great place, Pembroke. There's a 3 and 3 campaign that we're talking about. 300 pennies for each person, $300 for each business. Businesses, I urge you when you get your letter in the mail next week to read it. Don't just toss it off into the corner and say it's not something you want to be involved in, because Pembroke is a beautiful community and we are going to be turning 300, and this is something that only happens every 300
There he
years.
is.
So I urge you all to become a part of it, and I want to thank you all for watching Heads Up 300. My name is Kyle Harney, and it's been a pleasure to have Rick with me tonight, and
Thank you.
all my other guests as well. Have a great evening, and thank you for watching Pembroke 300.